I can take it apart. I can put it back together with my eyes closed, man. It ain't that hard. Look at how I do it right here. I got the tools. I got the pieces. That's all you need. Hi everybody, welcome back for another video. Do you have a launcher fetish? Are you just so interested in launchers and gunsmithing that you have such a high IQ for that you know all of these launchers inside and out, and you're very confident to break them down and take them apart, explore, put them back together? You have such an obsessive, compulsive focus on launchers and launcher parts, and you're the expert. Well, that's great, but I just want to tell you today in this topic, having a really good gunsmith IQ is useful in many ways, but it does not equate to a less lethal IQ. And what do I mean by that? What I mean is it's one thing to be able to use launchers and to maintain launchers, and those are skills that everybody needs to some degree. I don't think you need to be a gunsmith to the point that you can literally troubleshoot everything that's going on and you understand everything that's going on in every launcher. The Byrna, for example, is a really complicated launcher. Some of the newer ones coming out that are newer technology, they're going to be harder to figure out. There's a lot of engineering goes into those. At some point, to focus on the minutia of that and your IQ of being a gunsmith becomes counterproductive. So less lethal IQ is when you actually understand the use of the launcher. You're prepared for situations in which it will be used, and you prepare for when it should not be used. You understand the limitations of the launcher very well in terms of real-world practical applications. Now, it might be fun to test launchers, to put them through abuse, to do some sort of extreme testing, to do different things like that, and to find out what's the tolerances of the launcher and things like that. But in reality, I think for everyday carry, if you're taking a launcher out and about and you've got it in your bag, the extremes that launcher faces are very minimal, and it's not going to be something that is really practical that you're going to put it to the test. But the less lethal IQ means that you are tuned in to what less lethal means to you. You understand various situations where you're going to use it or you would not use it. For example, when you're carrying and you're out and let's say you're pumping gas at a gas station and someone's approaching you, and you have a situation where the person is suspicious, but you really should not be using a launcher or anything on them, but you want them to back off. You have to give some verbal warning. I think a less lethal IQ is using everything that you can verbally to try to make a situation de-escalate. There's a lot of skills that you need to use in order to create some space and to get distance. A lot of people imagine that the attacker is just like on them immediately and there's no warning, and I guess that can definitely happen. But I think in most cases, if you have a good less lethal IQ and you have good preparedness skills, you'll be surveying your environment as you're pumping your gas. You'll be looking. It happens to me a lot where I see someone suspicious across a parking lot or here or there, and I see someone and this person just is not right. I don't know what's going on. My radar goes off and my less lethal IQ tells me I will change my trajectory, or I will do this or that. When you're walking through a parking lot, you have a nice advantage in that there are other cars that are barriers. So if you're walking and you see someone who looks like they're on a beeline to try to come to you, you always have the ability to cut through some cars, go a little bit different way, see if the person changes their direction, to do something a little out of the ordinary. anything that you can do to avoid a situation is a win. I don't think that we need to be of the mindset that we're just, because we have a tool on our body or in a bag or within reach, that now we're invincible and we're welcome someone to come attack me because I'm prepared. That's absolutely the wrong mentality, and that's why we should have a less lethal IQ. We should be geared toward minimal amount of force needed. In fact, we don't want any force. We want to verbally handle any situation. And then if necessary, we should always have a pepper spray. The pepper spray should always be our first line before we go to any type of kinetic launcher based self-defense method. The pepper spray would handle most situations. If it's a single person who's coming to you, it's a really useful tool, and it's something that a few of us bring up and we talk about it on a regular basis, but there's a lot of folks who don't. They dismiss it. They only want to focus on high-powered launchers, and I don't know why that's the case, but pepper spray remains and will always be probably the best, most compact, most carryable, and most effective tool. Even though only, maybe 10 or 20% of people can fight through it, a lot of people are not going to be able to do that. And at the very least, it gives you such a tactical advantage in terms of getting away or fighting, or to buy you time to go to your launcher. So that's what I mean by less lethal IQ. And I don't see a lot of people talk about that. I see lots of launcher fetish. I see my launcher has this, my launcher has that, this new launcher has a new feature here that I've made. I see a lot of you need a projectile that is better, and the reality is just a good round ball that's a good bore match is all you need. And don't fall for the shaped projectile sellers that are out there, because at the end of the day, you have to acknowledge a real person who has a good, less lethal IQ will acknowledge shaped projectiles have a failure rate that is probably not acceptable for your less lethal defense. Maybe they work, maybe they don't. Do you want to take that chance? Round balls, round, reliable, that's my mantra. So less lethal IQ is knowing what works and what doesn't, and not just testing. I take my launcher out and I put it through a bunch of rounds, and also I lube my launcher before I shoot every single time. That's great, but if your launcher needs to be lubed every single time before you use it, or it may malfunction, that particular launcher is not a good choice for you. You want a launcher that can be prepared and can last for a while, because reality is you're not going to be opening up your launcher and lubing it every week. If you do, great, but I don't think many people are going to do that. So you want something that is easy to maintain, easy to carry, the least amount of risk that it's going to fail or malfunction. But for right now, just keep in mind, a gunsmith who has an IQ that's off the charts for gunsmithing is not equivalent to having real less lethal IQ. And so when you get your advice about how you should actually use launchers and incorporate them into your self-defense and consider all options and all force levels, getting your advice from a person who's just modding launchers and playing and having fun is not necessarily the IQ that you need. You need a good, less lethal IQ. And so let me know what you think about this. Do you think that you have the less lethal IQ that you need? Is there more you need to learn? Are there topics that you want to talk about in the future? I'm all ears. Look forward to hearing from you. Everybody stay safe, and we'll see you next time.